Enzorecto, kalaban ang katiwalian at kasinungalingan, kakampi sa katotohanan at kabutihan.
The Office of the Ombudsman is set to file 2 separate complaints for preliminary investigation against former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, Mr. Elizaldico, and several others, one for plunder under Republic Act number 7080 and another for violation of the Anti-Money Laundering Act as amended. Let me be precise about what this announcement means and what it does not mean. A complaint for preliminary investigation is not a conviction. It is not, at this stage, a formal charge before a court. It is the office's determination that the evidence gathered is substantial enough to warrant a full and formal inquiry into whether or not the case should be filed in court. Every respondent will be given the opportunity to answer. The presumption of innocence stands, as it must, unless and until proven otherwise in the proper forum. At this point, we will ask the respondents, including former Speaker of the House, Martin Romualdez, to answer the allegations contained in the complaint and put forth his defense. Once we receive his defense and that of his co-respondents, the case will be submitted for resolution and the decision will lie with the panel of prosecutors whether or not the case should be filed in the Sandigan Bayan. I would like to assure the public that this office follows the evidence where it leads. Regardless of the office once held, the influence still wielded, or the political weight of the name involved. Our investigation identifies former Speaker Romualdez as the central figure in a scheme built on the diversion of public funds meant for flood control projects. Funds that were supposed to shield Filipino communities from the very floods that year after year take their homes, their livelihoods, and too often their lives. His co-respondents in this complaint include former Congressman Zaldico, among others. At the core of this case is the testimony this office does not take lightly. Sworn statements from 8 individuals who formerly served as Mr. Co's own security personnel. People who were present, who moved with him, who witnessed the exchanges firsthand, detailing the amounts delivered from Mr. Co to former Speaker Romualdez. This is not hearsay passed down secondhand. It is a first-hand account from those who were there. That testimony does not stand alone. It is corroborated by an independent evidentiary trail from money exchange companies to bank transfers to shell companies, all using personalities tied to the former Speaker Martin Romualdez. The former security personnel of Mr. Zaldico record the first trace of money from Mr. Zaldico to the former Speaker. Investigation yields, however, that the money trail did not stop there. In an apparent attempt to cover up the extraordinary wealth, the money was exchanged, commingled, and laundered through an elaborate scheme. The result? Numerous luxury houses and condominiums, extravagant investments in different industries, and enough money left to change narratives, buy opinions, and attempt to destroy and manipulate evidence. Records drawn from the Anti-Money Laundering Council, money service businesses, and corporate structures that our investigators allege were used as an instrument in this scheme, when read together, tell one consistent story. Further, despite a precautionary whole departure order issued by the Sandigan Bayan, this office has received credible intelligence reports that former Speaker Martin Romualdez has not ceased attempting to leave the country. The office calls on all relevant agencies to make sure that this does not happen. Let me make this clear. We are not done collecting evidence. We are not done filing cases. The investigation reveals more and more each day and each week. To look away at this point is contrary to the very mandate of this office. So, we build cases as the evidence comes, and each element and crime becomes more apparent. As more come, the more we work, and the more our cases churn. To every Filipino who has watched this scandal unfold with mounting anger and mounting doubt, who has asked again and again whether accountability would ever reach the top of the scheme or whether it would stop, as it so often has, somewhere in the middle. I say to you, the evidence has spoken, and this office has acted on it. Funds meant to hold back floodwaters were instead allegedly diverted into private hands, while communities were left exposed to the very disasters those funds were meant to prevent. The betrayal deserves and will receive the full and fair weight of the law. This office will provide further updates as these complaints proceed through preliminary investigation. We thank the media for their continued diligence in covering this case, and we thank the Filipino public for their patience as due process, real due process, is allowed to run its course. Maraming salamat.
Sir, dun sa attempt to leave ni dating Speaker Martin Romualdez, can you expound on that, sir? Ilang beses siya nag-attempt and ano yung mga move na ng Office of the Ombudsman regarding this?
Well, ito nga, nananawagan ho kami sa mga ahensya na may kinalaman sa border security at siguro yung mga ating mga law enforcement agencies na sana po ay bantayan nyo na po yung mga galaw, no? Dahil nakakuha po ang office natin ng intelligence reports na kahit meron na po siyang precautionary whole departure order, may balak pa din po siyang umalis. And sa amin po, dahil matagal na naming ini-investigate itong kaso na ito, matagal na naming gustong i-file to actually, although of course we had to let it go through the proper process, the right evidence gathering, at nandito na tayo sa punto na ito, sana po hindi masayang yung ating trabaho at ating effort dito. So kaya namin siguro nire-remind yung ating law enforcement agencies, pati na rin ang ating border control, to please watch out. Dahil malamang sa hindi niyan, lalabas po siya sa informal channels at hindi sa formal borders natin. No? May PhDO na siya. Ibig po sabihin yan, hindi na po siya makakaalis gamit ang ating mga normal or formal borders. Airport, seaport. No? Pero itong intelligence po natin, kailangan bantayan lahat. No? So we really hope, no, na itong mga border control agencies, pati na po yung law enforcement agencies, could be on top of this.
Sir, mahirap ba in case man na makaalis si dating Speaker Martin Romualdez, ano na po yung mangyayari dun sa mga PI level na complaints sa kanya dito sa Ombudsman?
Sa preliminary investigation stage po kasi, pag hindi po sumagot ang isang respondent, ibig po sabihin, parang niwe-waive na po niya. Actually, niwe-waive na po talaga niya yung kanyang karapatan para sumagot at maghain ng counter affidavit na ang nilalaman ho niyan ang kanyang depensa. No? So, we will have to resolve the case on the basis na lang po dun sa allegations sa complaint. So, wala na po siyang chance to defend himself in this forum.
Bunyog, bunyog, halikan na kasama ka. Bunyog, kapag buklod ay may pag-asa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, isa ang pananaw. Sa bagong Pilipinas ang bunyog isisigaw. Bunyog.